Hello everyone and welcome back to Factorio. Okay, just hit the overlay because it keeps flashing up on the recording otherwise. So another update on the construction of my initial base. Again, I will be doing probably more sort of frequent episodes in the sense of I won't be skipping so much gameplay once we're out of the initial phase, but this first base like flickering on the screen there. I'm sorry, that's just OpenGL. I have no idea how to fix it. I don't think I can. It's an AMD driver thing apparently. Anyway, point is, for now this is still a fairly simple base, and really I'm only pushing this sort of as far as I absolutely have to before I can get all the resources I actually need ready to go. The one thing that's actually giving me a bit of worry is that I only have 1.2 million iron there, and my closest next iron source would be probably this one, 2.1 million. But to get to there I would definitely need to clear some alien nests. Anyway, I thought first I'd show you some of the stuff I've done, and I'll probably start up here because yeah, I'll just have to start somewhere, I guess. So this is all terrible, snaky, spaghetti line stuff. I don't do this, and I won't do this in my proper main base, but this seed base, which I just need to get the resources together for the eventual quote-unquote real base, I don't care too much about how it looks. So if you've come here to see sort of quote-unquote good gameplay practices, you'll need to wait until later in the series for those to really become a thing. For now I'm just basically pulling the 9s wherever I can get them to wherever I want them to be. It's a bit of a hassle, but yeah. So this is a grenade making station. Grenades just require iron and coal, so I spliced off some coal. Whoa, zooming is bad. It doesn't happen when I'm moving, only when I zoom in and out, so yeah. Seems to happen mostly at the maximum zoom level. So as long as I don't do that, it's fine. Yeah, I'm basically taking coal off this line. We still have enough to provide our smelteries with coal, so we're good. And combining it with the iron, I spliced off the line right here after the first time the lines are merged. And I'm just making grenades here because they take so long. How long does a grenade take? 8 seconds, and these machines aren't working at crafting speed 1, they're only at 0.75, so it actually takes them 33% longer than those 8 seconds. Over 10 seconds. Anyway, I have set a limit on this chest, which means it'll never produce more than 5 stacks of grenades, which means I won't be dumping a ton of resources into this. But when I want grenades, I probably want them in fairly large quantities, so I want this to replenish quite quickly, because grenades are my go-to method, at least for the moment, to clear forests, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So instead of manually chopping down a bunch of trees... Whoa! That was bad. Okay, so I should not be doing that on screen. Anyway, you get the point. I really wish recording this worked a little better, but now that I'm committed to it, nothing I can do. Yeah, I'll be using those to clear the trees, at least for now. Later on there will be other means that might be more efficient still, but for now grenades are the go-to way to destroy larger forests. That's how I cleared all of this already, so I've got some space to expand into. Okay, so that's the main purpose of this grenade. I'm also manually crafting military science packs on occasion. I need 2 upgrades to the damage of my grenades, so they can one-hit trees. I think right now I still need 2 hits to destroy any individual tree. Obviously one-hitting them means I will be using half as many grenades, so I've manually crafted some military resource packs. And I'm just putting them into the labs manually as well. I don't don't need to set up a line for these just yet. This research station is very temporary, so I'm not too bothered about it. Chances are I might add the third type of science packs 3, to this setup. I need to fiddle around with the belts, but I could probably still do that. But chances are that because there's only a select amount of the advanced science that I really need to get going on the base proper, I might just manually craft these specific science packs I need for that and just manually insert them like this, which is not ideal, but I really don't want to spend too much effort making this nice when I'm really not planning to spend much time here. So yeah, this assembling machine that makes the standard firearm magazines. It now outputs into this assembling machine, which makes piercing rounds magazines. These are generally more powerful. I believe they actually have piercing properties, and they definitely do more damage. So overall an improvement, but I required steel for that, and I think this is also new. Excuse me. So I've set up a steel facility right here. I'll just plop down some lights. This is sort of how I build my very early game Steam usually. Steel, not Steam. It's not exactly perfect or anything, but it works. Steel is basically created by smelting iron and then smelting the iron again. So I take the iron ore and coal from this bottom line to make iron plates, which then get inserted into the top line of furnaces and combined with the coal from the central 2 coal lines, serving as fuel obviously, and then they get put by long-handed inserters on these underground belts here. We'll get to that. The reason I use underground belts here is firstly because it allows me to use the the small electric poles and still supply everything with power. So I can basically run the steel lines underneath the power poles. And another advantage is that inserting on a standard belt does not give full compression. There will be gaps between the items basically. There's ways you can go about solving that, but apparently underground belts work a little differently. So on these sections where the belt goes underground or comes out of underground, inserters are able to place items as close together as they get. So I'm able to produce a compressed belt this way, from what I understand. Doesn't matter since I've got a balancer here anyway, and it's compressing this line. Even if I actually, never mind. The reason we're fine that this would be fully compressed anyway is because I'm not using the steel faster than I'm producing it. Anyway, this produces steel, which I use for various stuff around my base. I've just set up half of my iron to go to steel and half of it to go to the iron. I will find a better solution for that eventually, but yeah, as I said, all of this is very sort of hacked together and not really meant to be permanent. And I will research the grenade damage now. So burning through these manually created science packs. So I'm funneling the steel here. First use for it is these piercing rounds. I also needed those to make the manual military science packs. I've automated the production of science packs 2s as well, the green ones. And those require inserters and belts, so I've automated some belts and inserters here, nothing fancy, just sort of single assemblers are enough. And I'm using 6 of these to probably actually produce more than I'm currently consuming, but it's fine. I don't think you saw this either. Maybe you saw the green circuits. If you didn't, this is green circuit production. The setup of 3 copper wire to 2 actual circuit machines is a ratio that you'll probably want to be using throughout the entire game. It might look a little differently once you're using modules, because you will probably want to put productivity modules into these, which basically means that I get every, say, 2 or 3 times that this machine finishes a product, I get a free product on top of it. And this slightly messes up the ratio of 3 to 2. I would need to actually do the maths for that to see if that actually changes anything much. I would probably do that in a later episode on screen so you can witness it. Anyway, here we have some early belt production. Producing iron gear wheels here to make standard transport belts. And the underground and splitter varieties as well. And I've limited these chests because I don't need that much of them. I'm actually probably done with them in general. Might not be. Automated lights, automated the assembling machine 2s. This is just so that I don't need to manually craft those, and whenever I need some I can just grab them. And because of my research I can now make better power poles, so I've automated the production of those as well. The big electric poles have a very small area that they reach. Smaller than the... yeah, I want to research the next one. Smaller than the small electric poles, actually. They are designed for getting electricity over large distances, because, as you can see, the cables of these small poles, they only go about as far as this. If I move the big pole even one further away, it'll stop connecting. As you can see, no wire, no wire, etc. And these here just have a massively increased range. I'll just say around about here is where that stops making a connection. So for getting power over large distances, that's the way to go. And the next ones I get here are the medium electric poles, and these just have a wider area of effect. I think it's 7x7 instead of 5x5. And in many ways that enables you just different setups. So for example, I can power the inserters, these, from 2 belts away. So I can have 2 belts and insert into the machine basically all along the row here, and I don't need to leave these gaps for the power poles. And I've automated those here. And I've also decided that for the first time since I've started playing Factorio, I'm going to put some iron gear wheels on an actual belt. So I made 6 machines to sort of deal with that. So far I've always just produced them locally where I needed them, but I'm going with a belt because it's more dense in the sense that one iron gear wheel consists of 2 iron plates. So by doing it this way, I get sort of twice as much compression, if you like, because a certain amount of belt full of these is equivalent to 2 belts full of iron, just in terms of the amount of resources I'm shipping around. So this, I think, might be advantageous. Yeah, I think that's all the new stuff. I'm sorry these might get very tedious because I'm just showing you stuff I've done, but yeah, that's sort of the way these episodes will be, for at least for a bit. Okay, next thing I'm going to automate is probably long-handed inserters and fast inserters. Eventually I'll also want filter inserters, and there's 2 more inserters that I'll want to automate at some point, but those might already happen when I've got my rail base set up. But I definitely want long-handed and fast inserters to just be there when I need them. So I will need iron gear wheels, and electronic circuits. Okay. And again, quite simple. Get this here. I'm wondering if I can grab the iron from in between here. No, I'll do it this way. Let me check. Fast, only need iron plates. You need iron gear wheels. You need iron gear wheels. Okay, so I don't need that many iron gear wheels. I'm just going to combine there you go, these 2 on a single belt, and I'm going to add another single belt for iron, which I can just take away from here. Okay, and you need to be connected. And then as always, run the rest of the stuff via underground belts. For some reason I like it if when there are no open gaps in these constructions here when I'm extracting items from the main bus. I don't know why, it's just the way I like it. Okay, so we want long-handed inserters, fast inserters, and regular inserters. And I think I'm just going to make this a really bad setup. Largely because I don't need these to be produced super fast. Because you don't need them constantly. I will fill up on. I will make these chests buffer to a certain amount, and then whenever I need to resupply, these chests will already be full. I'm not consuming them that fast. Okay, so now as far as I can tell, I need long-handed inserters to get iron gear wheels. Yeah, you are standard inserters. Let's start with you. I need everything for you. Okay. So I'm just going to put 2 of you and 1 of you. And now I can just power this from the other side. As you can see, like this. All the inserters are actually powered. Or at least all the ones, like not these, but the ones that matter. And I didn't need to leave any room. Okay, are you actually... No, you're not getting iron plates yet. Okay. Now you are. And 5 stacks should probably be enough. And you need... Okay. I'll also give you 2 long-handed inserters because they're slower than the fast inserters, so that's why I'm giving them more of those. And I might need a fair few of those, so let's just keep a decent supply of 10 stacks in there. Yeah, I've done no calculations here or anything like that. Again, for the main base, which I keep promising about, don't worry, it'll be awesome, it'll be perfect, it will be amazing. It will be, I don't know, bigly? I really don't care that much about Trump. Well, that's a lie, I do care, but I don't bother learning all this stupid stuff. Anyway, that'll be precise, and I will sort of do throughput calculations and make sure, you know, I need X amount of this and this, and set everything up accordingly. So as I said, I'm going for 1 of each science per second. That's my initial goal. 1 of each of the different science packs created per second, including the rocket science packs. These are the most advanced ones, which require you to launch rockets into space. But I think because you get, I think, 1,000 per rocket that you launch, 1 per second means, I don't know, a rocket every 15 minutes or so. That's not that big a deal. The later normal quote-unquote science packs, which I haven't unlocked yet, so you can't see them, those are much more costly and will require much more throughput. I think I'm eventually going for a base that'll be able to process just under 20,000 iron and copper per minute. Per minute, yes, under 20,000. 19,200 per minute is the throughput of my smelteries, as far as I recall. And then I will have to calculate all the rest of how to distribute and how many assemblers I need and all that stuff. Yeah, that's kind of... That will be fun. It will be boring, but it will be fun. It is what I really enjoy about the game. Anyway, so I've automated these poles and these inserters and the initial belts. But now that I've researched logistics too, and actually I should probably show you my research. I just keep researching stuff because it takes so long, and you know, if a research takes 15 minutes, I don't want to only do research when I'm recording. I've researched plastic, which allows me to make plastic, which is very relevant later on. Logistics 2, which allows me to make the faster versions of all of these belts. so I can now upgrade them, which I will definitely do. These are the new power poles. I can now mine or pump oil and process it into various products. That's important. The tool belt just gives me 2 bars at the bottom, so I can store more items for quick access. Circuit network, I've never used this. It's similar to redstone in Minecraft, if you like. You can definitely get through the game without ever using it, but some advanced setups sort of take advantage of it. I've never played around with this at all. I have no idea how it works, so maybe I'll integrate some of that into my designs, but I would have to read up on it massively before I could. And I always find that a design that works without these devices feels more elegant, and we'll get to all of that. Advanced material processing just gives me steel furnaces. They're faster than the standard furnaces, but what I'm really going for are advanced material processing 2, which I would need a ton of stuff that I don't currently produce. But this gives me electric furnaces, and these are really the end game thing. They're just as fast as the steel furnaces, but they run on power, not coal, which obviously means I don't need to worry about getting fuel and the ore to the machine. I just need to get the ore through and make sure it's all powered. And I have setups for that already prepared that will work nicely. Flammables is just sort of a prerequisite for various other stuff that I'm not too focused on right now. Landfills also not really relevant. You can sink stone into these in ludicrous amounts and basically use them to fill up lakes if it becomes relevant. I think most of the rest you've already seen. Yeah, I just keep researching sort of low-level stuff here to... Am I out of something, by the way? Grenade damage doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Oh yeah, I must have made a... did I... Oh yeah, I made a mistake here. Never mind. The research requires 2 military science packs, so 200 in total, and I only calculated it to be 100. Same for these, so I need to make another set of those, which means I want 75 turrets, 75 of these, no, 75 of these I said, and I do have 75 grenades, so I should now be able to... Ugh. Okay, make me all of those, and then stop making one of them, and we're fine. I had the raw materials to make one more, apparently. So yeah, that's the current state of the base, I guess. Consider these sort of little updates before the series proper begins. And I keep forgetting to put lights down, because when I play solo I just never do. Kind of just increase the brightness on my computer screen. You know, automatically producing these and these, so that's nice. I have a supply of those whenever I want. And yeah, by next time I will probably have automated these faster belts. I'll just set that up probably somewhere here. I don't think I want to expand this setup here. It's just ugh. I'll just leave that there for historic purposes, I guess. This whole base, as I said, it's not made to last. Okay. But yeah, that's... Don't think there's much point starting anything new for now. Nope, nothing springs to mind. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.